Hope everyone's doing well. Started here in a second. Share this out. There. All right, so we're gonna get started. I'll be going back and forth between Bookmap and obviously the charts for SPY, but right now what I'm looking at primarily is the double top potential here on SPY and basically NASDAQ. Everything's kind of doing the same thing, so you can't even come up to your major level, which is like 40.50. You're hitting like 40, 47, 40, 46 and getting pushed down. The big question about today and the big issue here of what I will say is happening is more of volume than anything. Low confidence in everything that we're doing. If you have questions as well, like go ahead and post. I'll be looking at kind of everything. YouTube and Discord, so it doesn't really matter. If you're in Discord, I recommend posting in my channel though, or where the live section is. But yeah, so that's where we're going to be today. If you have questions, again, try to go over them as much as possible. But yeah, so we're sitting decent on this. I didn't get that big of a position though. It's a really small position on SPY for next Friday. So that's where I'm sitting, just kind of relaxing, chilling here. But overall, you look okay. You look fine. Yeah, nothing crazy. You have GDP as well tomorrow. We've seen those revisions continue to come out negative. So have to anticipate we probably see a little bit of selling into the end of the day. If we were going to see some, it would make sense that today we would see some increased selling towards the end of the day, and then combined with kind of the volume of what we're getting, and you can actually see here. I wish I could zoom out. I can give you a better visual volume. The volume is just so lackluster. Obviously, the most volume we had is around 9 to like 9, going into 10 o'clock, where you had some increased selling pushing you down. But then you move back up with minimal volume, as you can see right there. So when we really dig in here, definitely not the price action you would love to see during scalping, day trading, but it is what it is. Try to work with it. So yeah, that is where we're at. Past few times where we've gone live here on Wednesday have been tough. They have been tough. Amazon, Nvidia, and then a lot of people have questions on Nvidia. Not seeing a lot here. Buyer slowly just moving up that bid there. Tesla came back down to 91.6, broke that level. Again, 91 to be big. Kind of surprised at the sell-off you just saw here on Tesla. Nice $2 sell-off from 93.5 down to 91.5. It's actually ideal. A little bit more too. What about Amazon? Amazon's been a big watch too. And Amazon, probably one of the easier trades that you will get is going to be this right here. So giving you a visual, you're kind of bouncing on VWAP. You don't want to flip that VWAP on SPY as soon as possible. Set an alert right there. So going into something like Amazon. So Amazon's been like probably one of the easier trades, like literally out there right now. So all you're really watching is like the 98 point, really like 98.5. It should be a little bit higher, like right there. So, oh my gosh, I can't put it there. Right there. So that's the big level. So if you get below 98.5, you expect to hit that downside. And then you have 100 and like 101.7, 101.10. But ultimately, that's where we're at right now. So you're kind of like range trading here. But if you break again below 98.5, you saw it yesterday as well. You kind of grinded, broke, tested, boom, just shot down. So that's what you'd be looking for here on Amazon. But again, nothing great, nothing fantastic here, nothing special at all. Volume is very, very lackluster, which makes sense of the price action that we're seeing here. Again, going back into Bookmap. That's all we really care about. If y'all have stocks you want me to cover, go ahead and ask. Till then, though, we're just going to be kind of going over a few things that we have here. Yeah. Second, sorry. Real quick. Okay. Sorry. Back. I'm trying to read through all these questions as well. See if we have any. Nope, nothing. Can you cover Adobe and Netflix? Sure. Adobe. Bring up both. Netflix. Netflix is gonna be more interesting. I can tell you right now, Netflix is 331. That's your level. You got to break above on that chart. 100%. That's all you gotta do is break above 331. Adobe's more interesting. Pretty big level down there at 376. I'd like to zoom out more. Let me backtrack that data. Let's go 12 hours. Go to Netflix. Back that out too. 12 hours if we can. Yeah, so Netflix, I mean, you're not even seeing that level there, but I'm telling you right now, like Netflix, you can go into the chart and sometimes you won't see it there necessarily on like level 2. But like on Netflix, you can come out and see, I think go like to the 1 day, zoom out, 331, exactly where you're at. Yeah, you can see. So you have that gap filler right there, topic right here, 332. It's on a daily time frame. You see the zoom pretty far out. But you do have a potential here on the daily chart, like potential head and shoulders trying to play out. Kind of wild. That is wild actually, but that's a big level. You can zoom out even further and then you see this is where you get that 331 level, 330, 331 roughly. Probably get scaled up just a little bit right there. But yeah, you have a level right there also. So this whole 330, like 0.5 to like 332 is a massive, massive level. So that's why it's like not surprising, right, that you're kind of getting a little bit rejected here. So that's what I'm watching. But you can see in here. So like the level 2, there's just not that much, right? Oftentimes for me specifically, like when I'm watching something as far as equities or watching anything I'm trying to trade, I'm not really so much focused on the equity like Netflix or Adobe. I'm definitely more interested in something along the lines of the indexes, because that's where you're gonna get more information. That's like what we care. That's what I care about, right? I care about what's happening here on the indexes over what's happening on an equity, because ultimately what do we know is that you're gonna follow the indexes. Equities aren't just gonna run up. Very rarely will you see like Netflix running up by itself. Like very unlikely. But yeah. So it's like I like looking at some of the stuff as far as like the level 2 on equities. And like if you had like icebergs, I think that's where it'd be like really interesting, to be honest. So you get to see some of those big orders coming in that you kind of can't see. And that would be really cool for Tesla and Nvidia and some of the faster names that trade. But yeah, unfortunately, you don't have that. So it is what it is. Getting a push up right now, potentially breaking that double top here on SPY. Yeah. You're going for highs of the day right now. It's just trash, literally trash can. I forced a trade here, but it's like $70, like $100 right now. But yeah, it's literally just garbage. Straight trash movement. NQ's trying to go. Moving up on the VWAP as well. And for anyone asking too about like, fundamental thesis for me, just understand, in my opinion right now, your fundamentals are kind of out of the window with some of this movement. And personally, in my opinion, I think that we are moving on the expectation of a pause to come. We're moving on the expectation of inflation will slow down, and the Fed's going to continue to, help these banks as much as possible. Their words, not mine or my opinion. That's just what the Fed has said. So until anything like that changes, there's no reason to think anything's going to change. This is a big level, though. You can see a lot of orders there. You can definitely see a lot of orders there. Gold. I don't have gold on my available things to look at on Bookmap. I can go over the chart for you, though. I don't mind. Gold's basically just been counter trading the market. Big level, though. I wouldn't be. I know a lot of people have been trading gold, wanting to trade it a lot too. So as you're up in this area, basically like 1986 through really to highs like 2070. That's a monster level. I don't think it's going to be a clear cut break. It's you're at the top of the resistance. Maybe if you break over this, then you can expect, to play the breakout. But for me, I'm not super interested. GLD, gold. Yeah, like you're at such a big level. Like, you know what I mean? Like historically speaking, this is a daily time frame, not even like, so you're at a huge level. So yeah, this is going to be the toughest area to trade gold because you're literally at the top of the range. Like all here, you saw the illiquidity there, and then now you're at the top of the range. So yeah, not a huge fan right now of gold. I think gold's been a great opportunity. I think with like all the bank stuff, it was a great opportunity. But I think now more than ever, it's like, like taking a step back away from it for me. Less interested for sure. What's going on, Demore? Demore natural. But yeah, so at this level, about 1,000 lots sitting here as well. It's a pretty big resistance right now. That's what I was saying earlier too. If you caught us on our live stream on the Option Drops channel, is we were used to seeing bigger walls, and this is definitely a bigger wall. But what I will say is that you saw it kind of reduce there from 700 to 600 right there from the top line of it. So we'll see if he can break through. Finally got something decent to look at though here. Second. Oh, my Discord keeps messing up. You're trying. See, you're just getting rejected. So this is going to be a big level. We need to watch this close. That's what I'm saying too, is like you can like look. So like hypothetically, let's say you're like ignoring ES and you're just looking at Netflix. I'm like, oh, Netflix, like you have clear, like your next resistance at 331, which is funny that we just said that. And it's probably you see sellers stacking up there right now because they're watching what's happening with ES. And if ES breaks above this, high possibility Netflix probably pushes up to 331. But you can see like, oh, I'm looking at Netflix. I'm like, oh, there's not really that much resistance. I can zoom in and find like something if I really try. But ultimately, there's nothing huge there, right? You're just seeing something come up now. But if I go to ES, you can see that there's a major wall there, right? But they are reduced. They're either moving the orders down to 48.50, which is kind of hard to tell. They just moved them off right there. That's interesting. So yeah, that's what you have to watch for. See if they move those orders. They're still sitting at about 1,000 lots right here. It's big order. One sec. Whatever. Trying to see questions. Can we go over the difference between resistance and support levels on Bookmap versus levels on the chart? It's really okay. So it's good question. Good question. Okay, so nothing changes. Nothing changes at all. So really, Bookmap is going to just provide you with more certainty on your levels, right? That's the biggest way I think you can interpret it for me, right? So like if I'm looking at, for instance, like I just said 331 on Netflix, right? We didn't see nothing at that level. And then we just covered it. And then like we saw that there was nothing there for a second. And then guess what? You pop up and then they start adding lots to that right there as at a resistance, right? Because they're looking at ES and they're expecting if you get a push through this level that you probably get a shot up to 331. So you're gonna need another test of that level. So there's not necessarily like that's what I say too. I don't watch, I'm not spending all my time watching equities. Like as far as Apple, Amazon, Tesla, I'm not looking at stocks. That's not what I'm spending my time on Bookmap. Like if I'm in a trade actively, then yeah, I'll watch. But it's not something that I'm basing my decisions on solely, right? Because we can look right here when Netflix, you pushed up to 329 and 330, and then you pushed up to 331 to the tick and you got rejected, right? So That's where our interest is where those key levels on the chart. But then you'll start to see, like, is there actually a lot of resistance there? Is there actually a lot of order set there? Or are you actually getting, more sellers stepping in there? How big is the wall? So you get more answers, and to see, like, if you're actually, like, conquering that level, like you're seeing right here. So as we watch ES, you can see that you're getting a lot of orders coming in and you're buying, and you're still fighting at this level. And you saw a lot of those lots kind of kick off. So you still have about 400 and then, 600. So it's still about 1,000, but it's still really interesting to see. And that's what I'm watching there specifically, right? There's no really big, they're not different. They all work together. You know what I mean? But you get more information on the chart. So like I go over to ES and I can look here. Let's go like to the 5 minute real quick, zoom in, So as I look here, I can see obviously previous high right there, which we're not holding above. Can zoom out a little bit more real quick. Let's see where we're at. And so, yeah, you're seeing too, like you're seeing this is all where you were kind of chopping around last time, like all of that level right there, right? Basically from, I don't know why it's not grabbing it, from right there, basically 40, 55 all the way into this range of like 40, 47 where we're at now. So you extend that over, you can see going back in the chart, like that's where your resistance is laying. That's where like your last resistance is up here as well, right? Of where sellers are sitting at. So you're just getting more answers along the lines of that, right? There's no like, different levels or anything. It just lines perfectly up with what you're looking at. That's what I say too. Like you don't necessarily like have to use Bookmap. Like it's really just level 2 data that you get from your broker. Now, granted, I will say a lot of brokers have really bad level 2 data and it's just not good. And Bookmap, you definitely get it. Like that's why, the actual service on Bookmap is a little bit more expensive, is because you're paying for that data that you're getting, which is far better than, TradingView. Like for instance, like TradingView, if I look here, like you're seeing just slow ticks, by 0.25, right? I mean, I'm getting to the decimal point. I'm getting instantaneous. It's way quicker. It's probably the best source of data that you're going to get and representing anything else. So that's another big thing there as well that people kind of fail to consider. So big thing that I'm watching there. Can we go over the difference between resistance and support levels? Yeah, I just covered that. So anyways, that's the main thing there. I hope that made sense. If that didn't make sense, we'll try to break it down further, but there's no reason that should not have made sense. Second. Trying to go back and forth between Bookmap and see if there's questions there. If there's nothing there. But yeah, so we're just kind of patiently kicking rocks, waiting to see how you're gonna react. But again, too, like a big thing too, like when you like start to look at these levels and you're trying to anticipate, can you break through? And you actually got some decent volume there too. Let me pull up a Thinkorswim so I can see volume there also. I'm curious now. SPY's, like all day long, SPY's volume has been really low. It's very similar to something like yesterday. But yeah, so the big thing that what you're seeing here on ES as well is, we've had very lackluster volume, like giving you a visual on SPY, like, right, just going real quick. I always tell people Yahoo Finance is the quickest way to look at this. Your broker will give you a little bit more accurate of a number as to where you're at right now. But on SPY, historical data, look at your volume today. You're at 37 mil. I can look at the average 30-day volume. Your average 30-day volume is about 100 mil, 104 mil actually on SPY. And so you're at 37 and it's 12:20. So you have, 2 hours and 40 minutes left in the day. Highly unlikely you're probably going to come in at low volume once again. This was a big reason why, in yesterday's video, I was telling people, be careful, be careful, be careful. But yeah, with low volume, what do we also know? Like what's another thing that we can get from that? If you have low volume pushing into a resistance, highly unlikely, or the odds aren't in your favor to break that resistance, right? So, there's not a lot of confidence in either direction of when you're moving the way you are right now. And I can tell you right now, your volume's been pretty treacherous the past 2 days. ESNQ, how can we use Bookmap to get an early entry when at a strong demand or supply zone? So, good question. So, yeah, Bookmap. Okay, so again, I just like I always talk about, like, for instance, joining Discord or joining, buying Cheddar Flow or buying Bookmap, or nothing's gonna give you like a for sure, like Bookmap's not gonna tell you enter now. It's just giving you the data in front of you. So like right here, like me grabbing some SPY puts right at this massive level and the potential double top. All I'm looking at is that volume is very, very low. Granted, we got a little bit of an incline here, but it's still dangerously low. What does that mean for me? If we're coming into a big level, a demand, resistance, whatever it may be, then as I see that there on the level 2 that we have about 1,000 lots just sitting here, actually over 1,000 now, but I'm looking at that, I just like, you kind of go into deductive reasoning of what do you expect to happen at that level, right? There's never going to be a clear buy now, sell now indicator. Like if there was, it would not be sold at a very low price to anyone. So I think you kind of got to look at it from a different point of view. Now, when you're using it like with education of understanding supply and demand, and then like you're understanding, that there's a lot of sellers at this level, like you're seeing right now compared to the rest of the day, then I think you get a lot of information there, right? You start to see the value of different trades and different setups there. And so that's all I'm looking at here. There's nothing like, there's no secret sauce. There's no, secret indicator. It's just, that's what I'm looking at, right? It's just, you've seen that level there all day long at 40.50. You've seen them stack up more contracts there as we're getting closer to it. So that just means that sellers want to hold that level right now. That's what you're knowing from this, right? Now, NQ, I don't love using NQ that much on here just because it's a little bit more sporadic. You get way more information on ES. But yeah, same thing. Like you can still see that level right there, 12.93. Where was it at earlier? 12.93. You can see all these big levels in here as well. So that's just what I'm looking at there. Should make some sense. But I think if people are coming to this idea of like, you get this service and then there's like this automatic like signal, no, it's not how it works. That's not how anything. If you go into that mindset, I think you've already lost. So hope that makes sense as well. I mean, really though, the best time you're gonna be able to to get the best instances of using Bookmap is gonna be power hour beginning of the day as well. Like, because you can see all those levels so clearly. It's like 8:30. I mean, you can really start seeing how you're moving there. But even here, still, just like we've been talking about, you've been getting rejected here so far. So you want to see more. Really, you would like to see an increase of volume. So you want to see, but you're not seeing any of that right now. And you can watch volume down here. There's really no news. Also, too, we have GDP. I think I went over that like right when I started the video, but you have GDP coming out tomorrow in the morning. I think right at market open, maybe an hour before market open. I can look real quick actually on investing.com. That's going to be really big. I think that's probably going to be like one of the focal points here of going into tomorrow. Going into it, we can see news, economic calendar tomorrow. Tomorrow, 8:30, yeah, GDP revision coming in, 8:30, so 7:30 Central, an hour before market open. That'll be big. If you come into Discord, please mute your mic. Or I'll just mute it, but if I mute you, then you can't ask a question, so. But yeah. Bring it back up. If y'all have questions, make sure you ask them. We will be leaving exactly at 1, so make sure you get those questions in. But yeah, so right now, again, just you can even see down here, like Bookmap does another great example of giving like a visual to looking at volume. Like I use Thinkorswim to look at my volume for the most part. And like this is, you can see down here, like where I use that, what I'm watching for. This is the 1 minute. It's as far as you can break it down on Thinkorswim. But like even like looking at volume here on not Interactive Brokers, on Bookmap, I mean, it gives you down to like the second. So you're definitely getting a lot quicker information there as well. It's basically just more exact information. There's just nothing going on here. Where's Netflix? 329. Don't expect a breakdown. Tesla's been really interesting. Tesla's honestly been one of the weaker names on the market. You know, I will say though, yesterday you had a really nice decline down to like to 185, 186. You shot like all the way back up to like 190 by the end of the day. Today you gapped up basically like to 195 and then just came right back down. I'm telling you, it's one of the weaker names out there. If I had to point out any name that was really weak, be Tesla. That thing is weak. You can still see here the same amount. Actually, you're getting a little bit reduced. It's around 1,000, but they're trying to hold you down right there. NQ. Any visual here? Nothing really. You're not even seeing any ICs coming either. Very minimal. CVD is tracking up, which is kind of a good thing, but again, nothing incredible. There's no decision here since 9 o'clock. Been heavy to the downside. Even the volume that you saw pushing you back up, minimal. Very, very minimal. There was nothing that really pointed you to get interested in going long, especially in the short term. Which, if sometimes you look at the chart, it gives you a little bit like not as clear as things should be. But going into SPY, like you can just see here on the chart, like, I mean, nothing. Like, I mean, in all actuality, this bounce since, 10 a.m., right? 9:55, right? An hour and 30 minutes into open, all the way to 4. I mean, nothing. Just so slow, so choppy. If you look at the actual way that contracts are moving on weeklies, they're terrible. It's literally like a worthless type of trade. Coming back into the level now, 40.50. A little bit under 1,000 lots now. What is that? 850. We'll see. So react. Another thing you're gonna watch for is see they start pulling orders off the book. It's the big thing. And how do you react when sellers actually get to that level? Because that's been the major question too. If you break local highs on the day and then they just stop. It's like I don't really know what I'm doing there. I do want to look at Home Depot. I bought some Home Depot stock this morning near open before the home sales data came out. Good break over right here. You pushing over, testing now 40.50. We'll see in a sec. Home Depot. Yeah, I got in around like 281.5, 282-ish. But yeah, so Home Depot's looking really good. Home Depot too, if you haven't seen the charts, so you guys understand what I'm looking at here as far as value. Daily. Still making higher lows all the way back since 2021. But if you look more at the range you've been trading in, so go back to October, this 270, 268 level, a lot of support down here. Upper end, easily back, in my opinion, easily back to 300 is possible. 292 is easy. But I mean, you have a gap as well to 315-ish. Still love Home Depot for stock play. I think it's just lower risk as well. I think tech is the only thing that's really like heavy risk right now. Do you look at absorption, iceberg orders? Either you look at icebergs. Icebergs aren't visible though for equities, just for the indexes. So, but I do. Usually mention them in every day's video. But as you can see today, like you're not really getting that many. Like they're pretty small orders in comparison to what we're usually getting. Absorption, I have them on here, or I think I refreshed and I had to re-download all my add-ons. I'm not a huge fan of them though. Like they're just nothing like super big for me personally. But yeah. Again, my strategy comes down to supply and demand, volume, and are we getting any type of like continuation patterns? That's all it really does. I'm not focused on MACD, any oscillators, anything crazy like that. Try to keep it pretty simple. Not a great reaction there. Not a great reaction. Again, I'm not trying to add too much noise to my charts. It was funny yesterday. I was in Discord and I was talking to someone and they asked them about Netflix, and I was like, "Yeah, you got to hold this double bottom that you're kind of making down here, and you're bouncing back." Their question was, how do you have nothing on your chart? How do you keep it was basically there's no indicators or anything. And for the most part, I like to have my charts pretty clean, nothing on them besides maybe like support and resistances that I have on there that are pretty big, from like a daily time frame. I don't want to have my judgment clouded by 10 different indicators, an oscillator, absorption, or all these different things. I want to focus on what I think is the most important, right? I don't want to have 20 different things in front of me and possibly miss out on what I think is the most important, which might be icebergs. Right? That's I might overlook it, and then, it's going to happen as a trader. You're going to overlook some things occasionally. You're going to overlook some of the important aspects that maybe you shouldn't. So you have to understand that you're going to have human error as a part of the game. But reducing the odds of that is all I can really ask for. So yeah. Netflix chilling, Adobe chilling. That's a good question. Good question. No questions from Discord. Okay, about 30 minutes left, so make sure you guys, if you have questions, ask them. Always have so many questions get asked for me about Bookmap. Then we come to the Bookmap stream. It's radio silence. So if people have questions, please ask while we're here. This is typically where I reserve all the time to answer these questions. See, now you can see more. There's about, it's like almost 1,200 lots right here. No, it's more. It's more. So 1,400 lots now. They're stacking up more, so we'll see how we react here. But again, that's what it comes back down to, is volume. And again, you can just see your volume is lackluster. It continues to decrease your odds of breaking up. And that's what I was talking about in the beginning, where someone was like, how do you know resistances? What are you looking for at these levels? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, how's your volume going into this level? How much, obviously, what's the wall like there? How hard is it going to be to get through that? That's the big thing for me. Thoughts on trading IDM following ES movement on a small account. If you're good at trading ES, then I don't know why you wouldn't trade SPY or SQQ or TQQ. Personally, I don't know. It's just it's up to you. I only trade Russell when I have opportunities in front of me. If I see Russell inherent weakness of taking a risk off approach, then I see the market just favoring risk off, then I personally want to attack Russell, because I know that's an area of the market that's typically a risk on. So that means if people are looking to get risky with tech and anything like that, then they might side with Russell or push Russell up. But if Russell, let's say past week, Russell was moving pretty stagnant and weak, and tech was continuing up. So I saw the inherent weakness in Russell, so I attacked Russell. And I went short on Russell, and I think 176 down to 171, right? And so that's just different areas that I look at it. But I've seen a lot of people with good success trading Russell. It's totally just up to you as a trader. But if you're already good at tracking ES, then I don't know why you wouldn't just trade SPY, personally. That's just me, though. I would focus on what I'm already good at, right? Especially even more so with a smaller account. You don't want to start clouding your judgment. Like I tell people that are in Discord too. I always talk about Dave. Dave is he joined mentorship months ago. And we don't do mentorship anymore. People that are in there stayed in there, but we don't accept any new people in there. But Dave is a perfect example. He started trading, and he was looking at all these different stocks. And then when he started trading, and started doing mentorship, we kind of reduced everything that he was looking at and had him really look at pick one to three stocks he really liked. And so what Dave did, and he kind of took an even smarter approach. And so he said, you know what, I'm going to focus solely on trading Apple, because Apple contracts typically aren't going to make or break you. Giving you a visual of Apple. Let me find Apple real quick. So giving you a visual on SPYs. So let's say you're trading, 0DT SPY contracts, right? So if I go to 0DT SPY and I go to, let's say right at the money, 399, you're in the money already, right? On these, so calls, right? So I'm trading calls on SPY. So the low of the day here is 88 cents. The high of the day is 190, right? So that's like a 100% move, like over 100%, right? And then if you bought the lows, you'd be back up pretty nice. So that's SPY. Now, if I go to Apple, and again, the Apple is not going to have the 0 DTEs for you, but if I go like to the weekly contracts, and even though it's like, near the end of the week, so we'll look at 160s, look how you're moving here. From open, you're high of 146, you drop down to like, $1. That's like first of all, it's like half of the move that you saw on SPY. So it's a little bit more consistent. And then you double bottom here and you move back up to like 150, right? A little bit more easy to track and less to do with IV and things along those lines. And so Dave just got really good at tracking what was happening with Apple, right? That was his bread and butter. And now Dave, like, he's killing it with Apple, right? And I'm not doing that to say like join Discord or anything like that. The point of that is he figured out that he was focusing on too much, got really good at following and understanding the way one thing moves, and then he started branching out. Now he's looking at others. Like, he's been like obsessed with Netflix lately. So like, just giving you like a for instance of like just habits that can make you better at, and habits that can make you worse, right? And I think a common mistake is people like don't really understand what they're looking at or what they're trading. And so that's why people say like 0 DTs if you're a beginner. I'm just like, what are we talking about? Like 0 DTs are tough to trade. Like maybe the toughest thing in the market to trade, in my opinion. But hope that makes sense. That was a good question though, JR. Someone in Discord, what are your dot settings on for ES? I don't even like mess with them that much. I just leave them at like almost the basic. I like them to be a little bit bigger. So really that's about like a little bit under midway. I would say probably like 40% filled on that top side. Only thing I do like to mess with is kind of turning this down a little bit. So I moved the color grade all the way to the right. I do like that a little bit more so it's a little bit more clear. But sometimes if you need to zoom in, you got to kind of bring that over a little bit. But yeah, so that's all I really adjust there. But yeah, you see how we rejected there? Like, again, like, I think that makes sense. And then, like, look what's happening. Look at that push down that you got. It was on increased volume, right? That's what we're looking for. And so you see all that declining volume as you're pushing up, and that doesn't lead you with confidence, right? It shouldn't, at least. I don't know why it keeps doing this. See, even on SPY here, so you can see down here, right? So you can see that big spike of volume. That's what you want to see, like in your favor or whatever direction you're going. But yeah. And dot size too, I don't really think you necessarily like, for me, I mean, like I like identifying them. Like they're the most important, like for me, for the dots of like identifying like what's happening with people buying or selling is when you come into these ranges as far as like hitting 40, 50, like to seeing if you're actually buying these orders up, right? That's the biggest thing for me. So like right here, you can see you push up, you can see there's about 303, about 300. You fill 382, so you actually take that level out, but you push back down and then sellers step back right back in. And then you don't fill those and you push back down. But yeah, good question there. Good question. Yeah, SPY getting a little bit of love. I know you use interactive brokers for your order entries. What do you use to see the movement of option contracts and their prices throughout the day? I used Thinkorswim. Kind of obsessed with Thinkorswim. I just love their platform for option contracts. I'm using this is Thinkorswim. I mean, you could even use Thinkorswim for your orders and entries and exits. Like it's fine too. Like, and Bookmap has an integration with Thinkorswim, but their data isn't as good as Bookmap as a platform, just so you know. Because you're not using Bookmap's data on Thinkorswim, you're using Thinkorswim's data. That's why it's cheaper on Thinkorswim. But yeah, still, it's a cheaper alternative, or like to get you started or to understand it as well. You just won't get like updates. Like, see how my ticker's literally just constantly moving. Like, you're not gonna get that. But yeah, like I said too, like I mean, I love interactive brokers, and you can look like interactive brokers, like they have it where you can look at the option contract, but it's just not as good for me. It's nowhere near as good as like Thinkorswim. Like I love Thinkorswim's visual of it. Does interactive brokers have their own version? Yeah, they do. Like here's a screenshot of it. I just don't want to show my account on live stream, but here. Like this is my SPY contract, so you can see. It's just like their UI is just a little bit more dated. That's what it is. But you can see how the SPY contract moves up, down, up, down, up, down, right? And it has where like your entry level was, etc. Thinkorswim is cleaner, my opinion. These contracts are almost $4 though, so I'm happy with that. Pretty good. And then you can also see, this is another thing I like to see on or not inherited brokers, but on Bookmap. So they obviously kept that level there, but what you can see, in my opinion, what they did is they took some of their orders from higher up at 49, 48, 49, 48 here, moving down to 40, 45, set up a new sell order to kind of hold you down to keep the train going to the downside. And as long as buy volume stays low, you anticipate it to get rejected. Me trying to find the name of it so I can add it. I'm using Interactive Brokers right now. I don't know what you mean. I like IWM if we feel there's a gap from today. So I'm not a huge fan of going long on anything yet. Yeah. I think in my YouTube video I did a really good job yesterday of explaining like where I stand. But yeah. Oh, the tab and on Interactive Brokers. I forgot what it was. I'm looking on my Interactive Brokers to see what it's called right now. I don't even know what it's called. Like I really can't tell you. 1 second. It's not quote history. Sorry, I'm looking right now. Market depth is going to be your level 2. Excuse me. I think it's option trader. I think that's what it is. I'm pretty positive that's what it is. Or maybe quote details. It's either quote details or option trader. I'm like 90% sure that's what it is. If you message me on Twitter, I can probably send you a YouTube video on it. Because that's what I did. When I signed up for Interactive Brokers, it was like learning a foreign language because I was so used to my other brokers. But there was a pretty easy video that set me up in like under 30 minutes, so it was nice. But yeah. But that's what I'm saying too. Like, again, like my setup is pretty simple of what I'm looking at, right? Granted, I have like 3 monitors that I'm looking at, and I probably could use more if I really wanted to. But I really don't even use like all 3 monitors to do all my trading and stuff. I keep my broker Bookmap on one monitor, and then my main monitor I'm just looking at charts, and the other monitor I have like Discord and stuff and news. But yeah, so TOS just makes it easy because you can have everything like all on one thing, which is nice. Like you can literally have book, like that's why I say like if you're using TOS, it makes sense to probably use Bookmap on TOS because it's cheaper. It's like easy to flip back and forth on your tabs. Like that's the nice part. But yeah, just let me get off the stream, and then I'll answer your DM if you DM me on Twitter. If anyone in Discord has more questions too, feel free to ask while we're here. We have about 17 minutes ish, give or take. Definitely not the most interesting action. Definitely not. SPY. Where are we at? Yeah, you're just chilling. You're rejecting off that daily open too. Another big level I'm always watching is that daily opens. This is where SPY opened up on the day. Kind of just we can't get back above it and hold it. But you also keep loving that VWAP. You just cannot lose it. If you lose VWAP, I think you're gonna just drop down to probably lows. But yeah, looking at there. Oh man. I did not notice your name, Lock, but I'm just gonna call you Lock. TOS has bookmap button. How much delayed was the trial version? Call me LPK. Okay, LPK. Or is it near real time? So I'm pretty positive. So that's another thing too. So you can try. I forgot all about that. Yeah. So on Thinkorswim, you have to call them and get it set up. I don't really know how you set it up on. I had it set up a way back and I took it all off. So it was like, yeah, I've noticed like my Thinkorswim got a little bit choppy because it had so much stuff on it. Maybe it was my internet. I have no idea, but I'm pretty positive the trial version of Bookmap on Thinkorswim is real time. I'm pretty positive, but it's not using It's using Thinkorswim's data for futures. It's not using Bookmaps. So this might be hard to understand. So, and I'm only familiar with this because I work with TrendSpider and I work with Bookmap, and so I understand the prices of how much these companies have to pay for futures data, right? So like TradingView uses futures data, and so you have to pay like $3 for futures. TrendSpider, you have to pay like $5. Bookmap, it's more expensive because it's literally for you, and they have a smaller base of people that subscribe to it. But it's also like far better. It is better. Like no matter what, it's not a biased answer. I'm pretty unbiased when it comes to saying anything about a platform, but yeah, that's the big thing to understand. So you're using their data though, so you're not going to get as maybe accurate. So it might be like a little bit delayed, like by a few milliseconds. But I'm gonna tell you right now, it's very close on the trial version. So yeah. So important to understand that part of it. But like I will say, like that is the one thing about Bookmap that I have not seen with any other competitor is the quality of data that you're getting. It's far better. But yeah, good question, LPK. But yeah, so if you have Thinkorswim, you can get a trial. You just gotta call up to Thinker. They literally pick up the phone too. Like Thinkorswim is great customer service. Let me see back to oh yeah, a few questions before we get out of here. Beef TOS Bookmap isn't good, right? You have to pay extra even if you have Bookmap already. Short ES off highs both times. Looking for this gap fill. So I don't use TOS Bookmap, so I couldn't give you an exact answer like on how much better the one I use is, right? Now I'm gonna tell you that again, like I just said, the data you're gonna get from the actual Bookmap platform is far better. Okay. Yeah. Bro's watching molecules, you're not lying. We're literally moving by like decimal points right now. I'm telling you, it's actually hilarious. I think when I got off stream last time we had instant movement. I'm willing to bet when I get off stream we're gonna get some more movement to the downside, but we'll see. But I don't think Bookmap is bad on TOS. It's still good. Like unless you're like literally trading like a 30-second chart, I don't think you're gonna be at a massive disadvantage. Because it's like the same thing we were saying, right? Like how long did we just sit up here at like 40, 50 and until we got rejected? We sat there from 12:10 until 12:29. So 19 minutes we sat here, right? So like, is that data pool going to kill you if you're off by like, even 5 seconds? No, it's not going to, because you can still see where that level 2 data is. And that's what I don't think people understand. Like for me, it's not about me looking at, oh my God, okay, we saw one big sell candle here. No, it's not what it is. It's about where the sellers are and how they're moving. And you can see that we had 1,000 lots up here. They moved half of that down to here at 40.45, and now they're adding more on the line here, and you're just making lower lows and lower highs in smaller time frames. That's what I'm looking at. How many of you think ES will close near 40.66? I'm not too bullish because tomorrow's GDP, and GDP revisions continue to reduce. Personal opinion, but yeah. Is orange high density bids? So all you're seeing, okay, so basically the color scheme from black to red, like red is the highest you can get. So black means there's like minimal orders there. Red means there's higher amount of orders. You can see on the right hand side how many actual are sitting there on the specific ask right there, right, or the bid. So yeah. Is Bookmap Digital Plus for 16 months enough? I don't know all the prices. I'm the wrong guy to ask about the prices. Don't ask me about the prices. I have no idea. Their Discord though, I'll post their Discord. Their Discord link should be down below. There's so many people in Discord that'll help you out though. Their Discord is like wild. They have so much going on in there. So someone will help you for sure. Do you see real-time data for other stocks? Also, PG, Amazon. Yeah, you can look at that. I covered that in the beginning. I don't want to go over this again, but I don't spend most of my time looking at equities. I spend most of my time looking at what's happening here in futures and indexes. That's where most of my time is spent. But yeah. When do they get their data feeds from? So Rhythmic is how they get there for futures, and then DX feed is for equities. So yeah. Again, ask them all these questions. I am not the person to ask about Bookmap's company and how they're all set up and where they get their data pulls. I just use the platform. That's all. You know what I mean? I just use it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why you would have Bookmap's platform like this and then use it on TOS. That doesn't make any sense to me, personally. Like, why would I need to? But yeah, I have a friend who has a big portfolio. I will for him to pay for Bookmap. Hey, Bookmap will appreciate you. I don't know, but again, like if they have any questions, like I think Discord is the way to go. Like they literally Bruce is the main guy that answers all the questions. And Bruce is like, he's every time I talk to him, he's with the customer or he's talking to someone who uses the platform. So he's like, you know, he's his own little customer support team. He's a beast. If you had what do you find the most helpful from it? If you had to choose one thing, literally just guys, like I keep saying, it's level 2 data. That's the most important thing here. I can't say it enough. It's the same. My answers typically never change. It's just where I can see I can visualize where where level 2 data is, where big sellers, where big buyers are. That's all I care about. I mean, you can get this information on your broker as well, but it's just going to show up as little numbers. And I don't want to see that. Just the bid and ask walls. Yeah, that's the main thing for me. So I can see exactly where it is. Yeah. What do you mean by level 2? It's a little bit more detailed than that, but yeah, for the most part. Where I can see large sellers and buyers are at. It's definitely a little bit of a luxury, but it just makes things a little bit more clear for me. But like for me, yeah, it's what it is. Point out large sellers here. Very big sell wall. Sell wall. You can just see where they're on the ask. You just see exactly where they're at. Like, is it just orange hue or is there additional data? I don't know what you're asking. Like, I'm literally telling you exactly what I'm looking at. You can see that there's 554 lots right there. You can see another 481 up here. Like, I don't know how else to say it. And I'm also going back and forth looking. So, like, we look at SPY. I mean, look at ES to get a better example. SPY's going to look exactly the same. But you can see we had our main wall up here at 40.47. We saw also too going back to 40.55. I think was the top of that resistance. Anyways, but you can see here a pretty big level here if we start breaking down. Probably push down the view up pretty quick, but honestly could easily go back to lows. That's what we were looking for kind of double top push down. But you kind of invalidated the double top right there. But either way, when we go a little bit deeper, you can see like there's pretty illiquid to the downside. Minimal buyers in comparison to the walls that we have from the sellers. How do you know what percent is spoof or not? You don't. Well, guys, again too. So like, there's a level of things in the market you don't know. So like, again, like if you're looking for someone that's gonna like handhold you and tell you like what is real in the market, what's not real, you know, if a buyer order is gonna be taken off the bid or taken off the ask, like I can't give you that answer, right? Bookmap cannot give you that answer. So going into it with real expectations is like what you have to understand. That's why there's a trial version. You can go try it on TOS if you want. But like you have to understand that like there is no end all be all 100 foolproof like indicator that's gonna tell you everything you need to know. You know what I mean? Or tell you what's right or wrong. Like it's not me being upset, it's just telling you the facts. Like, and if anyone tells you that there is, they're probably selling you something most of the time, right? And that's what another reason why I like Bookmap is like they're not really trying to sell you anything. They're just giving you like, and they do so much free stuff as well. So like again, if you want to get more information, you want to like, you know, see exactly how it's used. I mean, literally, this is the Bookmap Discord. Like I don't think I've ever seen a Discord, not even mine, that just does so much for free. Like literally, this is Discord's Bookmap. Like our Bookmap's Discord. I mean, just constantly. Like I'm streaming in there right now, but then they have another one with this guy Tom. They have another one with Scott. I mean, it's all day long. People just going on and on and on. There's tons of different things you can look at. Whole community. They're going over it all the time. Different sales. But yeah, like nobody's gonna be able to tell you. But I can tell you right now, no one in there's gonna be able to tell you if something's a real order or a fake order or anything like that. Like you just have to watch and see if it gets taken off. That's another thing too that you're gonna be able to see here on Bookmap is like you can see that level 2 is saying that this level's been sitting here the whole time. They haven't taken it off the ask. It's been there the entire time. And you can see if they take it off, then they'll take it off, and you can see if there's not a wall there, which is also really important for me. But yeah. Thought it was on like the live stream. Listen from you all. Hey, appreciate it, LPK. But yeah, so I hope that made sense. Again, I'm not getting upset. I'm just like, I don't want people to like to, you know, to assume something that isn't there ever or any type of false advertisement for me. This is probably like my longest like sponsor too. Someone that I've used actively for an extensive amount of time. There's no real competitor out there for him. Any last questions before we hop out of here? Just a slow day. I'm just waiting for these SPY contracts to get up 10%. I'll probably start trimming one or two of them when we get there. I don't think I've ever had to work this hard for $150. If you want to sell put option on ES, do you suggest the weekend expiry? Are you talking about SPY LPK? How are you talking about? What do you mean? Use it via app or browser. I didn't know they have a browser version. It's the app though on the computer. It's a desktop app. What's your A+ setup using Bookmap? Supply and demand, or a key level combined with heavy orders at that level with declining volume. Like today was a pretty good example, right? So we were moving up with very, very low volume, minuscule buyers. We were still pushing up. We went over that. You came into a level with that's been here all day long. You hit it almost to the T, couldn't even get up there all the way, and then you just shot down. Best example of where you're gonna get there. What time frame for supply and demand? You use anything from the 1 hour up to the daily, weekly. But yeah. But it's from a top-down approach. So I go from the weekly down, obviously, to the 1 hour. Yeah. DXY is dropping. DXY is not going to affect the market too much right now based on what's happening. I don't want to go over DXY right now. I'm not going to go over DXY. But yeah, the dollar is heavily disconnected from the stock market right now. All right, that's about it. ES options available on Thinkorswim. Are ES options on Thinkorswim? I have never ever even looked at an ES option because I assume they're very expensive. I did not even know. I've never looked at ES options before in my life. Never in my life have I looked at these. I am not interested in these. I'm so sorry. I don't even know where to begin. I would never trade an ES option. Or do I trade SPY or Qs or something along those lines personally? Yeah, I've never touched. I figured how much they'd be. I am not. I'm sorry. That is not for Tyler. No, sir. But yeah. Okay, guys, it's gonna wrap it up. I'm live every single day on our channel, Option Drops. The link should be somewhere down below or in the Discord. But yeah, guys, appreciate it. I'll see you again next Wednesday. Have a good one.